Welcome, welcome, crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, and foes, and other worldly beings. Let's climb aboard the mothership, secure our tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you want to listen in your free time, whether you're working it or working out, feel free to listen to me anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And before we go any further, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast, and it is an honor and a pleasure to have you here with me this evening. I hope you enjoy the time we have together, because I'm looking forward to it. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to do a podcast last night because this last week I was doing overnight security at the La Plata County Fairgrounds, and as you guys know from the past, if not, no worries, but that place is super haunted, and basically it's shadow beings. Shadow beings. I don't really think we've had any apparitions as far as like full-bodied, looks like a human. Like, it's all shadows. And one of the main energies there is a male energy, and it's interesting because as the years go by, my kids get older, and my eldest has been working with me for like the past 3 years, I would say, and she's seen them. My nephew last night, who is a little younger than me, he saw them. And I also brought along my two youngest, 10 and 12. And yeah, Floyd didn't really mention too much about it, but Lily did. And it was funny because I don't know if you know, but when you have experiences like that where you're seeing things approach you, seeing things out of your peripheral, whatnot, and you look up from, whether you're reading or watching a video or whatever, and there's nothing there. At one point in the very beginning of the job, as the days go on, I think they get more familiar with you, and especially with me, because I've been there and doing security for almost 22 years now. And so yeah, they are quite familiar with me being there, and aren't afraid to approach me, obviously. At one point, when I did security there alone, one of them hit my car, and I thought it was my husband like messing with me, and then as I look around and in mirrors and stuff, I don't see anything, so I turn the lights on, like maybe he's out front or something, like maybe I'm just not seeing him. And when I did, I see this shadow being, I'm gonna say male because that's the main presence I pick up on, but kind of in a football running back stance, like running towards the car, and as it hit the beam of light, it just kind of dissipated. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting out of the car anymore, I'm not walking down to the bathroom, I'll be driving down there, thank you very much. But yeah, most of us were seeing them last night, and when I mentioned it to my nephew the night before, he's like, wow, I'm glad you said something, because I thought like my eyes were going bad, or I'm losing my mind or something. Like, I thought it was just me. I'm like, no, they're very prevalent. They've been here, and nothing negative so far as it seems, but it does appear that they're curious and they like to have fun messing with people, and I know there's more than one, but the main one likes to stand up on the second floor where there's an office overlooking the barn, and that's where we are. That's where we're supposed to be, watching over the animals, making sure nobody comes in. Believe it or not, people will go in, and it's because it's competition. You're trying to sell your animal. You want to get the most out of it that you can, and some people will backstab and stoop so low as to feed other people's animals poisons, things that are not good for it, things that'll make them bloat or get sick. Very, very sad. So it is competitive in a way when, I don't know, for me, I feel like it should be more of like a group sort of family thing, like let's help each other out and raise each other up. But I feel like that with a lot of things. I think that's kind of my place in life, is to have people understand that, or yeah, we're not alone, we're all in this together. But I have to say, it's sad because every year the fair gets smaller and smaller and smaller. My daughter that was working with me was like, there's less animals and stuff like that. I'm like, I didn't really notice that. It appears about the same amount to me, but maybe I'm just looking at it from a different perspective. And she was saying, yeah, with, like, even in the chicken barn, which we don't have access to, but I got there early enough the night that I brought my youngest daughter, who was 10, and I'm like, hey, we're here early enough, let's go and see if the chicken barn is open. And it was. So we got to see some chickens and roosters, and which, now that I have my own, I understand a lot more about them, and they are so intelligent, and they're just the funniest little critters ever. And my little rooster, I call him best friend. Best friend, come here, best friend, don't run away. Every time he hears me say that, he doesn't even have to look at me, he just starts running. But I'm hoping, this being my second year of rearing chickens, that this rooster will actually hopefully like me and not try to kick my ass every time I go out into the yard. So that'd be nice. But yeah, he's a Colombian, so he's a black and white rooster, super cute. If you're on my Facebook page, which I need to get a Late Night in the Rockies one, I haven't done that. I have a We Are Paradox Media, Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, and then my own personal one, and I posted pictures of him on there, and I'm like, I'm trying to get along with this guy. Like, every time, which I said only 2 years now, that I go and get hens, I've never wanted a rooster. Like, for me, it's all about the eggs, and I'm not looking for chicks. One of my chickens is, poor Shirley, like, she will not get off the coop. You have to take her out. And when you go in there and look in her coop, she's like, "Rrr," which I think means, hey, what are you doing in here? Get the hell out. I'm trying to hatch this egg. Which she hasn't been laying for the past week. And I wonder if it's because she is sitting on a golf ball that my 10-year-old put on there in her coop. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, she's been broody for quite some time. I tried putting her in the cold bath and holding her in there. She didn't seem to like it very much, but when you're horny, you're supposed to take like a cold shower or something, cool yourself off. I don't know. Maybe just having a personal shower space is what you need. Who knows? But yeah, according to what I read, if you give the hen a cold bath, it's supposed to help to get her from being broody. And one of my friends asked me about a month ago, hey, do you have any baby chicks? No, unfortunately, I don't. I'm not in it for breeding. I'm in it for the eggs. I have like over 250 egg crates because I want to sell eggs. I want to sell my tomatoes. maybe some salsa, stewed tomatoes, different things like that. That's my goal. I also have different peppers like habanero, ghost, and jalapeno and stuff. And I'm trying to do that, like from the farm status instead of caregiving and stuff like that. I'm trying to do something different and less stressful, more therapeutic. But yeah, I didn't have any baby chicks, but she had a broody hen too. I think in flocks you always get at least one. And yeah, unfortunately I didn't, but she was able to find one and give it to her hen, and the hen has gotten better. So maybe that's what I should do. I can't just go down to the Tractor Supply and do it, because you have to buy so many, and I don't need any more hens. Like, I got enough. But yeah, I need to get her a baby. She needs a baby. That's the only way I see right now to get her over it. But there has in the past been time when especially since it's been warmer, we don't lock up the coop or anything. In the fall and winter we do, because the fox comes out and the raccoon and comes and tries to eat my critters. We went from having 12 last year to having 5. The goose was decapitated by my old man's dog, and then 6 of the hens were taken by a fox. So yeah, that's sad. Luckily, so far, I haven't experienced any natural cases of death, but enough about my chickens. You've probably heard enough about that. I'll try to put some pictures of the before and after of my flower bed, which is in the shape of a bed. It has a headboard and a baseboard, which look like brass, and I don't know, I'm super proud of it. I've got zinnias in there, I've got peppers, I've got tomatillos, I've got 2 different kinds of tomatoes, and yeah, different sizes of zinnias, a couple different kinds of marigolds, just to attract pollinators, which are hummingbirds and bees and butterflies. Yeah, I'm trying to do stuff like that to make it grow even better, but I do need to fertilize them. Probably tomorrow, once I get a strap on, getting back in the swing of things after doing the overnight security. It's like, how is this different from your regular schedule of going to bed at between 4 and when the sun comes up? Well, like I said, it's different because you have to stay focused, and you can't just relax and zone into your own things. But I'm looking forward to having some homegrown tomatoes. If you have not had them, they are the best. They're so good. So I'm pretty excited about that. And as far as my tomatoes, I have so many different kinds. I have purple Cherokee, there's another Cherokee, beefsteak, Bob's Bountiful, and then I have yellow ones that came with my salsa kit, more beefsteak, and I can't remember what the other one is, but yeah. I want to eat them all. Maybe I'll do a thing where I do a live video or a video for YouTube and have them laid out and compare the different ways they taste, how they taste different. Yeah, I'm so down to do that because that's how much I love tomatoes. They're so good. And I also grew some catnip, and one of our cats just recently discovered it, so I won't be using that plant for catnip tea, but there's another plant that I am planning to use for catnip tea. Don't knock it till you try it. I don't know if you know, but growing up, my mom was killed by a drunk driver when I was 5, almost 6, and she used to give us her sun tea before we'd lay down for a nap. And as I grew into an adult, I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense, because, you know, tea has caffeine in it, and what was she using? And there are these like wild clover plants that we had in the yard that had these little purple flowers on them with little Uh, it looks prickly, but it's really soft. When I was a kid, I used to take the little petals off, which there's at least, I'd say 30 or 40 on there, depending on the size of the bud. But you could suck on the end and get just a tiny bit of nectar. But that was one of my sweet treats when I was younger than 5 that I'd partake of. So I thought forever that's what it was, because that was sweet and I loved the taste of it. But come to find out later on, it was actually catnip. So if you have issues sleeping, melatonin, sleepy time tea, other things like that aren't working for you, try some catnip tea. Seriously, it's not just for cats, it's for humans too, and it'll help you sleep. So there's that. Um, yeah, the geese are pretty funny. I caught them the other day, like I almost like ran up to them and was like, "Hey, leave that hen alone." They were messing with Glow. She's a gray bird that I thought she was an Easter egger, but when I was looking at pictures of different chickens and stuff, I think she was misposted or whatever, because instead of looking like an Easter egger, she looked like an Americana. So we have two. One is a gray. Her name is Glow, aka Gloria. And the other one is like a cream color, and her name is Abby. And then when I went to the Tractor Supply this year, I got, man, at least 8 because they were so low priced. Like the Lucky 7 and Ignacio, those are high priced. Those are more like hobby chickens, and you know, they do have meat chickens and different ones that are like really, really good layers, but they do have like Polish and different fun ones that you want to have. But yeah, if you go to Basin Co-op in Durango, you can get a ton for $3 to $4 each. So yeah, when I saw that, I was only going there to get a few, but she's like, this is how many we have available. So I do believe I got 8 from her for a total of 21 chickens now. That's including last year's 5. And then I also ordered 2 geese because, like I said, my goose, Gauzy Gosborn, from last year got decapitated. And I wondered, was that a sign? No, probably not. Trying to be funny about a sad situation. Seriously, I can't believe that Ozzy is gone, but at the same time, I can't believe he lived this long with the life that he led. Holy shnikes. But yeah, I got 2 geese, which came from Tennessee, and one was an Emden, which is white and very leaderish. She thinks she runs the place, and she has to have everything I try to feed the other goose and anybody else. And then my favorite one is a buff goose, and she is just so sweet. I wish I would have just gotten 2 of those, but I really loved Gauzy Gosborn. So, and the name of my geese this year, so the Emden one is named Grace Shelley, like Grace Kelly, but Shelley. And then Greta Van Beek, like Greta Van Fleet, the band that sounds a lot like Led Zeppelin. But yeah, Greta Van Beek, she's my fave. And yeah, I have some pictures to post of her as well. She is so cute. But yeah, she's like, she stays out of the way and is kind of leery because the other one, like I said, runs the show and will run her off and steal her food and do different things like that. But she's sweeter. If it comes a time when, you know, something happens to them and I need to get more geese, which I love to have to protect my flock, I'm going to get 2 buff because they are so cute. And it weirds me out, like, why are they so leery of me? Like, I've known them since they were 2 or 3 days old. You know, they were born and shipped out that day. When they got there, I'm the first one they saw. I'm their mama. Maybe I should have just kept them to myself and not introduced them to the kids, but no. I wanted us all to be close to them. But yeah, they're just not as cuddly as Gauzy, and I wonder, is it because Gauzy Gosborn was a male? and he thought I was his female or what. Like, he used to sleep at my feet when I'd be out in the yard and just sitting there enjoying, nature and watching the chickens and stuff. And these two, like, won't even get close to me unless uh, Grace wants to come up and, like, pull at my clothes and stuff. But that's enough about the yard. I'll update you later if we have anything else. I've also been keeping up on the hummingbird feeders. I have 3. 2 really cheap ones and 1 expensive glass one. And it's funny because they prefer the cheap ones and they clean those out immediately. And then the glass one, I still haven't refilled yet, but all right. Before we get into Reddit ghost stories, let's do our thought of the hour, or quote of the hour. I'm not sure quite what to call it yet, but life itself can't give you joy unless you really will it. Life just gives you time and space. It's up to you to fill it. See, that kind of felt like a poem or a limerick or something. Like, yeah, it had a really good flow to it. And now, Reddit ghost stories. Reddit ghost stories. This is by user Mebin_KK1567. They dug up a grave after 5 years and were shocked at what they saw. I heard the story from my old neighbors. It happened in the 1980s before I was born. There was a man named David Kalabarakal who died and was buried in our church cemetery. In our place, they reused graves after 5 years. Are you serious? Where is this? When they dug up his grave after 5 years, everyone was shocked. His body was still the same as the day he was buried. People even said his hair and nails had grown. Some old people say David Kalapurakal was a landlord who treated his workers very badly. They believe he even killed some and buried them under his house. Many think that's why his body didn't decay and say it was a curse. Priests came from the main church and did many rituals. Only after many years did his body finally turn into a skeleton. Well, maybe he was really well preserved or whatnot, but it takes at least, I would say, 10 to 25 years with embalming fluid and the different things they put into our bodies for a body to go from body to skeleton, and also being underground where it's cooler and you're not out in the elements and the bugs and the bacteria and all that other stuff. That could take some time too, but I've heard this before as far as, like, people thought they were vampires and would dig them up and drive stakes through their heart just so they wouldn't, get up and kill everybody. But yeah, from what I've heard, it's a very natural thing for the hair and the nails to continue to grow. Yeah, it's weird, but it's been known to happen. This one is by false_hat7226. It started with a knock. One night, my boyfriend's daughter, Cole, was alone in her bedroom. She was upstairs with the door closed. From inside the room, she saw a shadow pass under the door. And then came a knock. Not just any knock. My boyfriend's knock. The one he always uses. The familiar rhythm that instantly tells you it's him, only he wasn't upstairs. He and I were both sitting in the living room at the time. We brushed it off at first, but then came the second incident. Again, the two of us were downstairs in the living room and Cole was in her room upstairs. My boyfriend caught a glimpse of someone, a shadowy figure the size and shape of his daughter, turning the corner and heading down into the basement. Thinking it was her, he called out her name. No response. Assuming she was just being playful or moody, he followed her down to the basement, still calling her, asking why she was ignoring him. He walked the whole basement, lights on, entire room was checked. She wasn't there. As he climbed back down, confused, Cole came walking down from upstairs where she'd been the whole time. And just a few nights ago, it happened again. It was late. I was in bed with our 16-month-old daughters, asleep beside me. My boyfriend was just coming back into the room when he suddenly saw what he thought was our daughter run across the floor and hide behind the chest of drawers. He stood there in shock, as if she was still in bed, still sound asleep. I haven't had any first-hand experiences myself, and there have been other small incidents involving my boyfriend and his daughter that I can't fully recall at the moment. We do keep a Bible open to the Lord's Prayer in all 3 bedrooms of the house. That's a bit eerie. Now that reminds me of, and I hate to be like, oh, it's about me, but no, like I like to share my experiences. I'm sure I've shared this one before, but living between Durango and Bayfield, we used to live in an A-frame in a place called Twin Lakes, and 1 bedroom upstairs was ours, the other one was my eldest daughter's, and even pulling up to the house, you could see like all the rooms were, especially in the winter when there's snow, you could see the snow on the beams, like the one going down, the one going across, and then all the rooms appeared to be warm as they could be. There wasn't really good heat or anything in there. And then the room she was in was always frozen over with snow. That's because it was haunted. Anyways, we thought one night, especially me because I cannot sleep, that she was turning the knob. You could hear it turning, and then all of a sudden it released and the door was like swung open. She wasn't there, so I got up really quick and ran to see what she's doing and tell her, hey, you need to go to sleep, it's pretty late. And she was asleep, so it wasn't her. Does this mean it was bad? I don't know. Come to find out later on, she called them Mommy E and Baby E. They were called that because the sound they made was E, which is very creepy, but yeah, Mommy E died to go be with Baby E, who died because it fell out of a tree. Mommy E ended up unaliving herself in a bathtub, I guess, which is very sad. Very, very sad. I hope whoever purchased that house after our foreclosure had a better experience than us. You know, hopefully they cleansed it and did other things before they went in there, because that place was pretty creepy. And like my nephew last night, well, it shouldn't really be haunted here because there's no deaths. One, I don't think they kept very good track of that in the 1800s, you know. And 2, there's not just ghosts, there's elementals and different things like that. And you don't have to die or have a tragic death in order to be a haunting. It could be experiences that are recorded in the earth or in the stone, or sometimes even wood. These things can carry different emotions and energies. So those are more like recordings, but elementals and such are not. This Reddit ghost story is Clumsy Sparrow 1. A ghost saved my life. Figured I'd give you guys a more wholesome, weird experience I have had. It was me, my little brother, and my older sister. We were playing in a makeshift treehouse that we built. For good visual, it was only the floor of the treehouse, so it was just a flat deck basically in a tall tree. We decided to attach an old slide to it for more fun. All 3 of us decided we are going to go down the slide together, I was on my back, my sister was in the middle, and my little brother was up front. We kept scooting back further and further so we would actually fit on the slide. We sat on a loose board and I went through the floor. I was falling head first towards the ground when I felt a cold hand grab my ankle and yank me toward the tree. I abruptly stopped with both my feet caught on a branch. My head stopped about 8 inches from the ground. I looked and there was a red hand mark on my ankle where I felt something grab me. To this day, I have no idea why the ghost saved me, but I am grateful. Yeah, my first thought was kids building a treehouse and then putting a slide on it, like something is going to happen that is not good. But thank goodness for that ghost that protected her or him. This story is by Much-Evening 6686. The creepy, unsettling photo a pastor saw 30 years ago. This is a story I heard from a pastor. I never imagined a pastor would have gone through something like this. I first heard it from an old friend of mine who told me it was something a pastor had once shared with him. I've written it down exactly as he told it from this point of view. The pastor began. It was about 30 years ago, back when photos were still taken on film. What? What is film? Just kidding. The pastor who told me the story once received a request to offer prayers for a photo. The requester was a man in his 30s who looked obviously healthy. He said he enjoyed mountain climbing. The pastor believed it was more important to honor and memorialize one's ancestors, but internally, he didn't believe in the afterlife, spirits, spiritual sensitivity, or even ghosts. However, as a pastor, he occasionally received requests to perform a blessing or spiritual cleansing for cursed or ghostly photos. Most of the photos and ghost photos he had seen were simply cases of simulacrum phenomenon, where landscapes appear to resemble human figures or misunderstandings of reflections in glass. The simulacrum phenomenon refers to the brain's tendency to interpret shapes composed of 3 points as human faces, suggesting that humans are programmed to perceive such patterns as faces. I thought that was a pareidolia. But anyways, therefore he explained this to the requester and emphasized the importance of mindset and attitude. Assuming that the photo from the man would be similar, he then looked at the photo he was given. In the photo, the requester stood in the middle, surrounded by 4 to 5 people who appeared to be his mountain climbing companions. It was a typical group photo. Before offering the prayer, may I ask, what exactly about this photo concerns you? The pastor asked. Based on his past experiences, he assumed it was likely that somewhere in the scenery, someone appeared as a figure, so he asked for clarification. The requester asked him, "Don't you feel something from the photo?" I did feel a slight sense of discomfort when I first saw it. The pastor honestly replied, as he had indeed felt a slight discomfort when he looked at the group photo. This is a commemorative photo taken with your mountain climbing companions, right? When the pastor said this, the requester replied in a heavy voice, "Yes, it does look that way, doesn't it?" The remark caught the pastor's attention, so he looked over the photo again. Centered around the requester were his mountain climbing companions, all of whom were smiling for the commemorative photo. However, upon reviewing it, he felt even more discomfort. Isn't it just a photo taken together for a commemorative occasion? When the pastor asked this, the requester said, "I took this photo by myself using the camera self-timer." "Are you joking? Are you trying to deceive me?" The pastor thought as he looked at the photo again, finally realizing the source of discomfort he had initially felt. While the requester was smiling, the other people looked somber, and their skin was pale compared to the requester. Above all, although the photo was taken on a sunny day, only the requester had a shadow, while the other people in the picture had none. He shared the story with me. Finally, the pastor is said to have concluded with this: many people are quick to label something that looks even a little like a face as a ghost photo for fun. 90% of photos labeled as ghost photos are simply tricks of light or reflections and are not truly spiritual. However, it is also a fact that 1% of those may actually be genuine ghost photos. The pastor felt something was off, but if a ghost photo can blend in so naturally that even he couldn't spot it right away, isn't that terrifying? I never saw the photo myself, but ever since I heard this story, I can't help wondering if something like that might be lurking in my own pictures. The passerby in the background, a woman sitting at the next table. Maybe they're so clearly visible that I never even think to question them. Go ahead, open your albums. There might be something in your photos you haven't noticed yet. Something you'll wish you never saw. And also, makes me wonder what happened to the rest of the crew that he's the only one in the photo when there's like 4 or 5 of them. Did they die on the mountain? Is that why he went up there to take a commemorative photo? It's hard to say. This story is by Electronic Employee 3049. And for some reason it's from Glitch in the Matrix, which is weird. Why did this come up when I was reading ghost stories? So odd. Alright. The sky glitched out last night. My neighbor with me saw it too. I saw something last night like that, and I've been questioning our existence since. My neighbor saw it with me too, so I know it was real. We were watching a satellite go across the sky, right by the 3rd star down the handle on the Big Dipper. The satellite went by, then the unexplainable happened a second later. It was like the sky glitched out for a few seconds, as if someone smeared the sky with their hand in a particular area, like it was pixelated or had some strange pattern over it, kind of in a striped, flowing square shape. I thought my eyes played a trick on me, but then my neighbor said, "Dude, did you see that?" I couldn't believe she saw it too. Then every hair on my body stood straight up. I was speechless and still am. Are we in a created world? Is this a simulation? What did I just experience? I can't wrap my head about what we saw last night. That's why I'm here. Please enlighten me. Well, I don't know. Was that a glitch in your matrix? This one is by ZoomZoomMF_. I've experienced a lot of strange things in my house. Some can be explained logically, but still odd. There is one that I can't explain. We had this mirror leaning against the wall. It was in a rectangular wooden frame and was supposed to be hung on the wall. We lost the mounts for it though, so I just leaned it against the wall and it was fine, but one night while I'm about to sleep, the mirror suddenly falls forward. It didn't slide out from underneath. The mirror came off the wall, then slammed face down. I didn't hear anything at all except the loud crash of the mirror. And then my dog just raised her head and stared in silence. She showed zero signs of fear, worry, or anything. She just stared at it. Some have suggested that because the mirror was right behind my door, it may have slowly been pushed up higher against the wall, so I repeatedly opened my door with different amounts of force, several times just normally opening it, other times pushing the door a little harder. Then a few times where I pushed the door really hard. I only ever managed to simply tap the mirror with the door when I pushed really hard. Someone suggested that maybe it was an AC wind current. There is a vent above the mirror, but my AC doesn't come gushing out or something. I've had other things happen too, like I had a bow in my closet in the same spot for 4 years straight. Suddenly rolls off the top shelf of my closet. The spot where I left it was fairly stable. I never really reached for anything up there, but it could still have a logical explanation. Mirror going from leaning to falling flat on its face? I don't know about that. This one is by Excellent-Willow 3893. Ghost in nursing home. And I don't know about you guys, but nursing homes are creepy. Just about as freaky or creepy as hospitals. Anywho, let's get back to the Reddit ghost story. I'm a resident in a nursing home and have been living here for 2 years. My room is haunted by a ghost, I believe, which died here. There have been numerous people that have passed away here. The ghost in my room keeps knocking the ceiling light fixture cover off the fixture. Maintenance keeps putting the cover back on. Even installed a new one, but it gets knocked down also. He came back and taped the fixture, and the next morning it was untaped and down again. One afternoon while I was watching TV, my clock got knocked off the wall and bounced off of my room fridge. It then hit the floor with parts going everywhere. I try not to be afraid because I have to live here. And also, Excellent Willow, you never know. Does this thing feed off of fear and that's what it's looking for? Good job on just ignoring it. This one is by Fuzzy-Elevator 4790. My family has a bobby pin ghost. Yep. Just like the title says, my family, mom, dad, brother 19, and I, 23, female, have a bobby pin ghost. I would like to preface this by saying we have never spoken with a medium, nor do we have any real proof of our ghost, at least nothing that would signal paranormal activity to anyone outside of my family, but she is very real to us. A sort of phantom grandma in a way. So anyways, here is our story. Background. I grew up in a large old Victorian house on a main street. It was built in 1863 and it is considered a historical home in our town. We have never really considered our house to be haunted, but there was definitely a noticeable presence. Sometimes our attic light would switch on while we were out. It was a dial that had to be turned, or we would see things like a phantom drip from the ceiling with no visible water to indicate a leak. We learned that an old woman had passed in the home, but we don't know any further details about her. Anyways, no one in my family wears bobby pins. This is an important detail. We would occasionally find them around the house, which was always odd because, as I said, no one in our family ever purchased any. We would have company over, but they would never come upstairs, and despite this, bobby pins would sometimes appear on dressers, on our suitcases, or behind couches when we rearranged the furniture. It wasn't until I got a bit older that we started to notice a pattern. We would only find bobby pins before a significant life change or a piece of news. My dad found one in the work bathroom before a significant layoff. He only works with a handful of people, all men, and even asked his coworkers if one of them knew why it would be in there. We found a bobby pin right before winning a radio contest with an all-expenses-paid trip to Canada. While there, Our hotel had a pool, and my dad, grabbed us some towels and got in with us. When we got out, there was a bobby pin sitting on top of our towels. We were the only people in the pool, and I don't think it would have gone unnoticed when he grabbed them. This was the first time we all really felt that our grandma ghost was real and with us. There were a lot more of these events, and bobby pins have become a sort of welcomed indicator of change or good vibes for us. Weirdly, my dad also found a bobby pin on the floor while touring our current house, and as odd as it sounds, it felt like his sign that it was the right decision. Even after moving, our bobby pin ghost has followed us. When I first moved into college, there was a bobby pin sitting on my mattress. At the end of the year, I decided to drop out, and on my last day of classes, a bobby pin was literally taped to my door. I had never shared the story with anyone, so this honestly left me feeling a little freaked out since the bobby pins were always sort of my dad's thing. I have since graduated from that same college after switching majors, and I have found a bobby pin in every single dorm that I've lived in. Sometimes multiple throughout the year, including one on the day of graduation. Didn't you drop out? What? Okay, so it was last day of classes. I don't get it. Alright, I am sharing this today because I had a job interview this week, and I am feeling super good about it. They're supposed to get back to me this afternoon, and oddly enough, I just found a bobby pin on my walk into work. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe it's a sign from our ghost grandma that some good news is on its way. If you've made it this far, thank you for reading. If anyone has any questions either for me or my dad, I would love to hear them. I plan on sharing this with him so I can maybe make some edits and add in any additional stories or details. So this one is not a ghost story, but it's by Artichoke Warm 4898, and it says, "Guys, tell me why there's a creepy-ass shadow figure on Google Maps when you go to the house next to the Conjuring house." Like, what? Yep, there's no link to see it, but pretty interesting because we, aka me, I was just talking about shadow figures. They do exist. They really do. This story is by Nebin_KK1567. My friend saw something terrifying in our school washroom. This happened when I was in 10th standard. Our school was a convent, and it already had a creepy atmosphere. We were lazy in studies, so the school made us attend special classes from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. During that time, only the classrooms had lights on. The washrooms were dark and far from our class. Around 8 p.m., my friend, Jolvin, went to the washroom alone. Inside, he saw a girl standing at the end of the bathroom. She was smiling and calling him. He collapsed right there and was taken to the hospital. Nobody believed his story, but even weeks after he recovered, he kept saying that he saw a girl and what he saw was real, and it still scares him even today. Sometimes I think about that night. I heard from seniors and friends that the school was once an old cemetery. I don't know if it's true, but it makes me wonder. Isn't it crazy? Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen online. I believe it's YouTube, but I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it is. Where a janitor is freaked out, and it starts with him in the janitor's closet. And he's like, "You guys, this school was built on an old cemetery, and I've heard stories from other people that work here and people from the past that have worked here, and there's really crazy things that happen, yada yada." not only is it built on a cemetery, instead of having pictures of the headstones or something like that, they have actual pieces of people's headstones affixed to the walls above the lockers. Like, what the hell kind of school is this? And that's the one with the red balloon that, follows the janitor, so that is pretty weird. And then at the end of the video, it shows at the end of the hall, you could see a dark shadow, like, dart super quick, like I would say inhumanely quick, across the windows in the back of the room. And then, so my daughters have always gone to Bayfield, but my eldest daughter got bullied really bad. I think because girls were jealous because she's super pretty. So she wanted to go from Bayfield High School or Bayfield schools to Ignacio. Well, her sister, which is 4 years apart from her, loving and being a follower of her sister, wanted to go there too. So, the year before, they had just finished building a new school up on the hill in Ignacio, Colorado. And come to find out, that place was built on, I would say a cemetery, but it could be what I believe to be old burial grounds, like native burial grounds, because the people that were digging there supposedly weren't aware of it until they started finding bones. But yeah, that's creepy. Like, why would you build anything, let alone a school, on an old cemetery or burial ground? Like, I would put a cap in it or put a nail in it and move on to somewhere else. Seriously. Let's not mess with our kids. Come on, man. But on that note, boys and girls, we are going to move to our first music break. On this break, we have Posney Bronx, who is originally from Jamaica, but also lives sometimes in the Bronx of New York. Then we have King Cinnamon from Biafra, Nigeria, as well as Mr. Rick Casey, and I believe he is from Minnesota, but he could be from New York. Pretty sure it's Minnesota. I'm gonna have to look that up. But anyways, you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Key on the beats.
Suck my boost, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boost, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I said you wine your body, eat a sweetie, sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boost, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boost, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Mukomukeji, go bere muketa. Oya mukomukeji, oya bere muketa. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni kwa mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fumi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ejo. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ejo. Daddy kosi kosi, omo ni ejo. Daddy turn pussy, omo ni ejo. Daddy and his baby, them there for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl the holla. Now daddy begin the open the shirt collar. Now something come up. Daddy begin the suck up. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni kwa mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fumi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ejo. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ejo ejo. All my men they gwero. All my guys they gwero. Imarama, Imarama Rosie. Imarama, Imarama Rosie. All my men they gwero. All my guys they gwero. Imarama, Imarama Rosie. Imarama, Imarama Rosie. Suck my boost, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boost, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I see the wine, your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Shake it, rock my body, I am feeling horny. Shake it, touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boost, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boost, you got my body loose. me, you got me confused.
Kissy, amani, ejo, daddy saucy, amani, ejo, daddy gossy, amani, ejo, daddy kahe pussy, amani, ejo,
Daddy contact, harmony, ejo, daddy comfort. Daddy consist, harmony, ejo, daddy can eat. Daddy 120, harmony, ejo, daddy 18. Daddy 240, harmony, ejo, daddy 36.
daddy and the baby, them day for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl the holler. Daddy begin the open the shell. I come to come, daddy begin the sucker.
Daddy mu eko, harmony pe mu keji. Daddy bere mu keta, harmony fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi, harmony, ejo, daddy saucy, harmony, ejo.
All my men they quero. All my guys they quero. Imarama.
Oh yeah, it's funky on the beat.
Oh Lord, strong light. We are ready to fight. Hard life for my people. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. The obstacle we face, yeah, is Babylon. The world is a good place, yeah, for our freedom. You take everything, you don't bring anything, yeah. Strong life, oh, not dread. We don't want to talk. No, it's time to fight, yeah. We stop talking. Babylon make you suffer. 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 What the desire? Strong life. We are ready to fight. Hard life for my people. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know how to fight. 'Cause my people suffer. What do you want, Babylon? I don't understand why this world is so strange with my people. I don't know how to fight, but if we are together, it will work. It will work. Babylon no have no heart. 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 My people, you have to survive. Yeah, you must rebuild you and make your own way. You must not give up. The beginning of the revolt will start. We need to follow our true destiny. Whoa. Yeah.
like it when you pop it, drop it, swing. Now don't stop it, doing that thing. Go, go, girl, keep doing that thing. I just wanna make you my main thing. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that. Vanilla chocolate flavored, you're the only one that I'm searching for. You the one for me and I can't complain. You sunshine anytime it rain. Not around then I might go insane. I just wanna make you my main thing. I like it when you pop that, drop that. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that. Honey, you so sweet, I can't ignore. Thinking about you both more and more. Making it pop and drop and swing. I could be the king, you my queen. Yeah, you look good, but you insane. I just wanna make you my main thing. I like it when you pop that, drop that. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that. Who's them dudes in the back with the black on? Crew deep, don't sleep or slack on. Come to the money, honey, I'ma get a stack on. Excuse me, ma, can I get my Mac on? To the left, throw it to the right. Do it like you wanna do it to me all night. From the block, kid know how to act hard. Like brick house, women with a fat backyard. In the club with me and my man's illin' that. The back door with me and my man chillin' that. I'm on the floor, I'm like, damn, she killin' that. It's going down, no cop around, feelin' that. I'm fly, I'm a guy that'll get him. Player like me, need two of you with him. Call you a lollipop and I wanna lick up you. Number one, my top choice of pick. Come on, give it to me, ma. Go, go, girl. Now don't stop. Oh, no, girl. Break it down for me, get it gone. Can you keep it going? On and on and on. Now give it to me, ma. Go, go, girl. Now don't stop. Oh, no, girl. Hey, break it down for me, get it gone. Cause you got it going on and on and on. Can't deny, boo, that you too fly. Anytime that I look you in the eye, a phenomenon that I can't explain. Like the things you're doing to my brain. You the only one to take away my pain. I just wanna make you my main thing. I like it when you pop that, drop that. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that. Can't stop thinking about how you move and all the things that I'ma do to you. True, this might be a little bit strange. Don't care if I don't even know your name. That's why I wanna tell you this simple and plain. I just wanna make you my main thing. I like it when you pop that, drop that. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that. Who's them chicks all thick with the pumps on? Lumps in the front, back with the bumps on. Not a cat hoping that he get his humps on. I'm way beyond what the mother chumps on. Sweet enough to eat and he might bite you. Wanna make love to you, I don't wanna fight you. Nah, body like you, not a one like you. When you come around, no telling what he might do. Right now in the club, who the dawn? Don't a man that got it going on later on. I can tell by the dancing, you digging this song. You can tell I've been digging you all night long. And I love to be digging in you all night long. Party right here, hottie all night long. Let's flex it to the coat check, exit to the Lexus, Nexus, triple exit. Come on, give it to me, ma. Go, go, girl. Now don't stop. Oh, no, girl. Break it down for me, get it gone. Can you keep it going? On and on and on. Now give it to me, ma. Go, go, girl. Now don't stop. Oh, no, girl. Hey, break it down for me, get it gone. Cause you got it going on and on and on. I like it when you pop it, drop it, swing. Now don't stop it, doing that thing. Go, go, girl, keep doing that thing. I just wanna make you my main thing. You pop it, drop it, swing. Now don't stop it, doing that thing. Go, go, girl, keep doing that thing. I just wanna make you my main thing. Vanilla chocolate flavored, you're the only one that I'm searching for. You the one for me and I can't complain. You sunshine anytime it rain. Not around then I might go insane. I just wanna make you my main thing. I like it when you pop that, drop that. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that. Honey, you so sweet, I can't ignore. Thinking about you both more and more. Making it pop and drop and swing. I could be the king and you my queen. Yeah, they look good, but you insane. I just wanna make you my main thing. I like it when you pop that, drop that. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that. Can't deny, boo, that you too fly. Anytime that I look you in the eye, a phenomenon that I can't explain. Like the things you're doing to my brain. You the only one to take away my pain. I just wanna make you my main thing. I like it when you pop that, drop that. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that. Can't stop thinking about how you move and all the things that I'ma do to you. True, this might be a little bit strange. Don't care if I don't even know your name. That's why I wanna tell you this simple and plain. I just wanna make you my main thing. I like it when you pop that, drop that. Keep going, baby, now don't you stop that.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we are partaking in Reddit Ghost Stories. It's been pretty good so far. What do you think? I've enjoyed it. I my whole life I've enjoyed ghost stories because it's like, I'm not the only one. There's people out there that relate to me, and that just makes it all seem a little better, at least. Somebody out there understands you, and you're not as weird as you assumed. Before we get going again on our Reddit ghost stories, let us go now to the quote of the hour. The trouble with being a leader today is that you can't be sure if people are following you or chasing you. Well, I suppose that could be true. Could it be neither? I don't know. Alright. This is by Travel Pink 81. Growing up in the 80s in a haunted house. I moved to a 1920s semi-detached house in the leafy suburb of Birmingham, England, in 1986 with my parents. I was 5 and my sister was 1. Early days I don't remember much as I was so young. I do remember having 2 imaginary friends who I had named Ida and Uda Manawi. No idea where these names came from. Not your usual Sarah and Tracy names, are they? Mom said I would play with them mostly in the loft, which is the attic, and the laundry room, which is the creepiest part of the house. Then a few years later, they just disappeared. Nothing too odd about that, as a lot of kids have imaginary friends, and I was a bit of a loner kid, though their names do make me creeped out a little. Fast forward a few years, maybe aged 9 or 10, I started having strange dreams and my body woke up. I was awake, but I was paralyzed from fear. I couldn't move. It felt like someone was holding me down. Very odd. This happened for a couple of years. Then came the TV and old record player in the lounge. Oh, and the tall lamp. They would all randomly turn on and off, not all at once, but subtly, all when it was just me in the room. No one ever believed me, and I was accused of having an overactive imagination. Oh my gosh, when I was a kid, that really pissed me off. Then came the shadows and a creepy feeling in one corner of the lounge. It later transpired the previous owner committed suicide in the lounge, a fact I didn't know at the time, being a child. Moving to age 11 or 12, this is when things really started to happen, especially in my bedroom. The smallest of the bedroom at the back of the house, facing a long, leafy garden, a cherry tree in the middle, surrounded by plants, and an air raid shelter at the bottom of the garden. My bedroom was the creepiest. Mom later admitted this after we moved out. I would frequently place items in their usual place before I went to bed, e.g. hairbrush on my dressing table, TV remote on bedside table, etc., and in the morning they were in different places. I heard rustling in one corner of the bedroom all the time. I'd check and nothing was ever there. I always had an uneasy feeling I wasn't alone. As I got older, things got worse. The bedroom door would slowly close on its own in the night. I never shut it as I felt nervous, and it was a door you had to pull hard on carpet to move. Then came the duvet being slowly pulled off in the night. It happened so often I thought I was going mad, but I pinched myself one night and rested my hands sideways at the top of the duvet cover on my chest and felt it being pulled. It was not my imagination. We had no pets, and it wasn't my sister messing about. She wasn't that type. The TV would also turn on and off randomly despite me not touching the remote. My desk lid was one of the most weird things, and you had to pull it down. And that would fall down for no reason despite being held in place as it was stiff to move. A lot more happened than this too. Things got weird. One night during a storm, I was in my teens, so this was mid-1990s. It was about 1 a.m. I was awoken by a massive bang like books falling off a bookshelf. It woke my parents, who thought the noise was from my sister's room, so they checked. Nothing. They went back to bed, then the loft hatch flew open. It was one you had to push up with a stick to open and release the hatch. Again, my parents were up, they checked the house, and nothing but it was a stormy night, so they put it down to that. But the third thing that happened, by this time I am awake and freaked out. The smoke alarm downstairs randomly started going off. No smoke, no fire, just odd. The next day we found out my great-nan had died. I wonder if she was saying goodbye. There could have been nicer ways. I moved away to university at 18, and my parents went through a stage of sleeping in separate rooms, so Mum slept in my room. For years I'd been told it was all my imagination, besides the storm night. But years later she told me she had an uneasy feeling in my room and didn't like to sleep with the bedroom doors shut, just like me. She said it creeped her out. Hold on. There's a lot I have missed out on, but that's it in a nutshell. In the mid-2000s, my parents sold the house, and the day before they moved out, Mum was tidying the front garden when an old lady walked past. She stopped and spoke to my mum. She told her in the 1920s the area behind the house had been fields, and she had a friend who lived in our house, presumably one of the first occupants. There were small children, and her friend picked some berries in the fields behind the house. She ate the berries and went home to play in her bedroom, the small room at the back of the house. The girl died in her sleep as the berries were poisonous, and she lost her best friend. Mum was speechless, as she now believed everything I had told her all these years. I wasn't told this until a few years later. I still drive past the house from time to time. I have a weird connection with it. I will never forget the events that took place there, and am convinced that little girl was haunting me, and the house was haunted. Thanks for reading. Well, you're welcome, and also... What? That reminds me of before my mom was killed when I was 5, almost 6, and I like to go exploring, and I remember my brother would go with me sometimes, but not always. I don't know why. I can't think of where he would be. Maybe he was too little to go. We weren't that far apart, maybe a year, but who knows. Anyway, across the street, you go up and into this field, and that's where the power line was that produced the ball lightning, or St. Elmo's fireball, or whatever the hell it was that one time. But going around in that field and, checking it out, looking for cool rocks and flowers and different things like that. And I find this little plant, and it couldn't have been more than, I want to say, 4 or 5 inches tall. And it had little tiny green berries on it, and they looked like little tiny grapes. And I was like, wow, look at these. And of course, I like trying stuff, putting things in my mouth. Don't make it weird. And so, of course, I picked this plant, and I was eating the berries off of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta show this to my mom. Because, she would grow things like the catnip for our tea and different things like that. She was also a carver and a painter and so many different things. But I'm like, hey mom, check it out. Like, check out these berries. They're so good. And they were sweet. Which generally when things are poisonous, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be like bitter or whatever, but who knows how that works in nature. But luckily there was still like a small berry left on the little bush thingy. It wasn't really bushy, it looked more like a plant with, strides that came off of it. But anyways, she saw it, immediately freaked out, called poison control, and had to stick her finger down my throat to make me throw up. And maybe I remember it so vividly because she had a sharp pointer fingernail, and I remember her like putting it down my throat, and it was like hurting my throat when she did it. But yeah, this story makes me think, thank goodness I took that home and showed it to my mom, because maybe I would have died in my sleep too and been haunting that place that is already haunted with other things. It makes you wonder, was that a naturally occurring thing in that field? Or was it something put there by something otherworldly? I don't know, but it really trips me out now that I think of it. This one is by Keytime 4393. La Llorona. Yeah, I have a story about La Llorona, and it's short but totally true. Well, that happened 10 years ago, so I may have forgotten some details. I went to Mexico with friends. I don't remember which city we went to, but it was very popular thanks to its huge lake. We decided to camp at the water's edge. The evening goes well, then we set up the tents. My friends fell asleep quickly, but not me. I feel you there, buddy. I was reading quietly when suddenly I heard crying, so I got up and I saw a lady crying above the lake. It looked like she was floating above the water. To describe her, she was totally skeletal with a sort of veil. She was curled up and crying. I was so scared. I woke up my friends and we went to sleep in a hotel. Nobody believed me. Here, I hope you like it. Bye, Jasmine. Well, thanks, Jasmine, for your story. And this story is by Elfrina_Green. My ghost stories. My husband's encounter. I have asked my husband if it is okay that I share the story with you, and he said it was fine. I think he is happy that my stories are getting told and written down. Anyway, by now you are all familiar with my good friend Wyatt, who has been with me since I was 5. Last time I told you about my bestie's husband's cousin. He has attached himself to Ryan, and I think he enjoys watching his cousin grow into a wonderful man. My bestie also has a spirit attached to her, but she doesn't make her presence known very often, if at all. I haven't asked about either one lately, though, so that's on me. My husband, though, has a rather odd spirit attached to him. Now, I know that you are all thinking that it's a relative or a guardian, like Wyatt, but she's not like that at all. I met my husband around Thanksgiving of 2011. We started dating on December 13th that same year, and I moved in with him, my bestie and her husband, in January of 2012. He's known since we met that I am able to see ghosts, though we rarely mentioned it in the beginning of our relationship. Sorry, my son just crashed through the door and scared me out of my skin. I swear to God, I jumped out of my skin, and I don't know where I left off. But, he's known since we met that I am able to see ghosts, though we rarely mention it in the beginning of our relationship. That is, until the night of this incident. Now, to understand what happened, you have to understand the layout of the apartment that the 4 of us shared at the time. It was a second-story apartment. Straight across from the front door was a door onto a nice little patio with a storage area that we rarely used. The storage area, not the patio. To your left would be the living room, and on the right, a galley-style kitchen that was partitioned off by a small dividing wall and a small dining area that we again rarely used. Off the kitchen was a utility laundry room pantry. There were 2 closets in the hallway. One was small and would likely be considered a coat closet, while the other was slightly larger and we used it for extra linens. Behind the utility room was the first bathroom, and across from that was the first bedroom. Immediately after that was the master bedroom, with its private bath and a lovely walk-in closet. My husband, Maddie, and I shared the first bedroom, while my bestie and her husband had the master. It was a wonderful place. Matty worked nights, so when I was heading to bed at 9, he was leaving for work. And when I was getting up at 6, he would be getting home. On this particular night, I was still asleep when he got home, so he started coffee for the house when he felt like someone was coming down the hallway. "Morning, babe," he said, but I didn't respond. Thinking that I was pulling a prank on him, he walked around the sink, breakfast bar to look down the hallway. There was nobody there, so he went back to his task, putting the thought out of his mind. A few moments later, he felt arms wrap around his waist. To be clearer, I do that to him still, and am about 4 inches shorter than him, so again he thought it was me. "Well, good morning," he said, reaching down to place one of his hands on my arm. Only there were no arms to touch. He spun around to find me, groggily, coming into the kitchen. "That was not funny," he said, exasperated. I, still half asleep, asked, "What wasn't funny?" "You and your silly prank," he huffed. That woke me up faster than a cup of coffee ever could. "What prank?" "The one where you come up behind me, but when I go to grab you, you aren't there." "Well, that would be just rude and not something that I would do," I argued back. That was when I saw her. It wasn't my first time seeing her, but it was the first time she had done something like this. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath to calm myself down so I wouldn't freak out. And freak him out too badly. "Babe, I just got out of bed," I said. "Like 2 seconds ago. I smelled the coffee and knew you were home. I came out here to tell you good morning and get some coffee. What you just experienced was not me." I took another deep breath and turned to the spirit that was hiding behind him. "And that was a very nasty thing to do, young lady," I hissed. Maddie looked at me like I had lost my mind, but ignored him. I was too interested in the little girl who stood next to him, looking like she had just gotten caught with her hand in the cookie jar. She was about 8 or 10 years old, and she wears an old-timey dress, I want to say Victorian in style. I have tried to get a straight answer about her name. All I know is that it is Annabelle, Annabeth, or something along those lines. Now, I know that you're thinking, Annabelle. I thought the same thing. However, I have concluded that it is not the same Annabelle. For one, this Anna doesn't seem to want to cause anybody any physical harm. For another, due to recent events with said Annabelle doll, I highly doubt that they are one and the same. The thing is, I don't know where this Anna came from. All myself, Wyatt, or Maddie have been able to piece together is that she became attached to Maddie when he was on truck with his aunt and uncle when he was younger. They did travel through the deep south, so I'm guessing that's where she attached herself to him. Why, I don't know. What I do know is that since this incident, she hasn't tried to harm anyone, scare anyone, or cause much mischief at all. She, like Wyatt, will still move things from time to time and will still touch Maddie at times when there is nobody else around. Otherwise, she doesn't do much but follow Maddie around. Whoever this Anna is, I think that all she wants is to be loved again and to have a family. So as far as Maddie and I are concerned, as long as she doesn't try to harm anyone, then she is more than welcome to stay with us until she is ready to move on. Oh my gosh, I wish there was an update, because sometimes, like, bad entities... And there is no update, because this was posted 9 hours ago. But they will pretend to be a ghost or a lost child in the spirit realm, when indeed they are something much darker. Alright, this one is by Prize-Seesaw9856. Skontakata? Whatever that means. Ghosts are an integral part of any folklore in the world, like American ghost lore. Bengali horror folklore features vast characters and stories. However, it remains unknown to many people due to the rapid pace of modernization. As a Bengali, it often makes me upset that we are continuously forgetting our culture and roots. Today I will tell you guys about an interesting yet underrated character in Bengali folklore. Skandakara. Wow, that writing is pretty. So first they type it out in Bengali and then in English. Skandakara, or headless ghost, is a prominent character in the Bengali ghost lore. Skandakara is a Bengali word that means a ghost who doesn't have a head. In many cultures, you will eventually find one like this character. We also have one, but the story is slightly different here. This character first came to the forefront at the time of British colonial rule. We all know that the Indian subcontinent was then ruled by the British. They introduced us to many things, such as railways, printing, and many more. At that time, we didn't have any lamps at night to light up the streets. That's why some people would walk in the dark of night and fall on train tracks and have their heads chopped off in train accidents. These people later turned into restless souls. According to some eyewitnesses, these spirits continue to search for their severed heads along railroad tracks. They often haunt passing by people and ask them if they have seen their heads. "Excuse me, have you seen my head?" Even today, many people that those restless souls are searching for their severed heads. There are many stories related to this. Many writers have explored it. Although Skandakara is not very famous, the stories will thrill you. That is it for today. I hope you like it. What are your thoughts on this? Please do share. I love walking around in the dark, especially when I'm doing overnight security, because sometimes you'll see people before they see you. And last night was prime because it was a full moon. But sometimes, like they said, it's just really, really dark. Have you guys seen that video? And I know people can like make it look like they're headless, but actual headless people just walking down the street and stuff. Like, how the heck are they so like solid looking? It just really freaks me out. Ooh, this one looks interesting. This one is by Palpitation Hot 1585. Do Appalachian horrors follow you? So this was put out here 12 hours ago, and if you have an Appalachian story for this person, feel free to share it with them. I'm saving mine for a book, but who knows when that'll ever happen. We'll see. School starts on Tuesday, so I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done, including perhaps adding days to the show, which I've been talking about, but summertime with the kids is really busy, and I hardly have time for even myself. So, it says, I'm starting research on writing a horror story involving Appalachian horrors, especially the ones seen on social media, where there is banging on the door and horrifying voices asking to be let in. The main characters want to conduct an experiment, but they are being careful as to not bring back anything with them. Does anyone know of any charms, protections that would work, or should work, or head stories of said entities following someone who has trespassed on their turf? I don't know. All I know is I'm originally from Arkansas. I've lived all over the United States. After Arkansas, it was Florida, then back to Arkansas, then Washington State, then from Washington State to Colorado, Colorado to South Carolina. Before that, it was back to Arkansas, then back to Colorado, then South Carolina, then back to Arkansas. No, it was Colorado, then back to North Carolina, then back to Tennessee. It was Arkansas first, then Tennessee, then back to Colorado, which is my favorite place. But I do have to say, as far as paranormal things go and hauntings and experiences that I've had, the most memorable to me are the ones from Arkansas, but maybe that's because I was so young and it really freaked me out more than it does today. And I say that, I'm like, I hope whatever's here does not hear me say that, because then maybe they'll try to prove a point. But yeah, as an adult, I've had a lot of experiences, but I don't retain them all. And a lot of times I'll be reading a story or something, or hear somebody say something, and then all of a sudden it'll pop into my head, oh my gosh, you forgot that story to tell. And so yeah, that's why I want to write a book, because then eventually, as I write down these stories, I'll remember other stories and put them all together. But yeah, the Appalachian stuff, holy shnikes. Little people, I swear to God I saw a little person last night, but little people for sure there. The shadow lady wearing the long black dress and the veil, wearing the 1800s shoes. What else? The fireball. The freaking kobolds, aka little Kentucky goblin thingies. Oh man, yeah. I'll have to read you my book once I write it. Definitely. Alright, this one is by Euphoric Mud. Euphoric-Mud-7922. You guys, I just looked up and noticed that the record button was not going. I don't know how that happened, and I'm not sure how far into Euphoric-Mud-7922 I was, but let's start again. I'm so sorry if I've already done this, but I saw him before I knew he existed. I was around 9 or 10 years old. Back then, life was just play, eat, sleep. We lived in this tiny 300 square foot house. My dad and my grandmother had been living there since the 1960s. It was really small. When you enter, there's a hall, kitchen on the right, washroom on the left. Past the kitchen is this tiny bedroom, like 6 by 5 feet wide. Before my dad was born, my grandmother had a son who died right after birth, 1964. Then she had 3 daughters and finally one boy, my dad, 1970. Asian families, you know, they keep trying until they get a son. My grandfather died when my dad was just 2, 1972. Later, one of my dad's sisters passed away too, in 1980, and everyone says I look exactly like her. They were poor, like really poor, so they rented out the only bedroom to a couple with a small kid. Everyone else slept in the hall. One day, the man who rented the room died by a sewer slide. He hanged himself from the fan. One building was made of cement and iron rods, and the fan hung from one of those rods. Eventually, my mom married my dad, 1995. It was just the 3 of them, Mom, Dad, and Grandma. The remaining 2 sisters got married. They started sleeping in the bedroom, but my mom kept saying she felt like someone was choking her at night. She got sleep paralysis. So they moved to the hall, and my grandma took the bedroom. In 1997, my older brother was born. He died right after birth. I was born in 1999. Cut to 2007 or 2008. I've always been scared of the dark, especially that room. I avoided it as much as I could, not knowing why. One day, I was trying to turn on the kitchen light, but I was too short to reach the switch. I felt something pulling me in. I was holding something, maybe a teddy bear. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember what I saw. A man hanging from the fan, dressed in white, clear as day. I screamed and ran to my dad, watching TV in the hall room. He got up, turned on the kitchen light, went to check, and there was nothing. I was just a kid. I didn't know anything about the man who died there, not until I was 15 or 16, when my family finally told me. That man I saw, he was real. He died in our house. In 2018, my dad got really sick, kidney disease. He passed away. I became the only one earning in the family. First thing I did, I moved. In 2022, my grandmother passed. In 2023, I moved to New York. Thought I left it all behind. But just last month, I had a dream. It felt too real. I saw the little baby who died before me. I saw my old house haunted, filled with spirits. I was screaming, shouting, no idea why. I couldn't move. Sleep paralysis. And then my dad appeared. He stood beside me, like he was protecting me. I woke up chanting God's name. I don't know what it means. Maybe he never really left that house. Wow. I don't know. It's hard to say. But be honest with your kids and trust and believe in them. Like, I think that has a lot to do with like my social anxiety and my awkwardness. I think it could perhaps be because nobody believed me. Like my immediate family, who I got separated from once we were reunited and had like a family bonding time or whatever, told each other ghost stories, and a lot of ours aligned, which is really weird too. But they believed me. But the people that I ended up moving in with after my mom was killed and my dad took a hard digger in life, as he was really in love with my mom and couldn't really get past it, he sent us to our grandparents. Our grandparents sent us with our aunt and uncle. Now my aunt is my mom because she adopted me. But listen to your kids. Don't just write it off and say, oh, it's just your imagination. Give them time, give them love, give them peace and understanding. Like, even if they are making it up, which most times they're not, but if they are, give them that chance to express themselves and let them vent to you. Maybe there's a reason for it. You never know. Stranger things have been known to happen, but yeah. Listen to your kiddos. Don't slough it off. This one is by independent_cell_498. Helvetia, West Virginia. I went with my family this weekend to Helvetia. We grabbed lunch at the small diner there that also serves as the post office, general store, and fashionette mask museum. The service was slow, so I was killing time with my son while we waited. At one point, we walked to the rear of the diner, where the door was open and a screen door that was closed. We were looking out the screen door. He was asking questions about something, and someone walked up near me to my right. I assumed they were checking out some of the decorations on the shelf there, and I took a step towards my son to move out of their way so they could see the decor closer. As I stepped back, I also turned to give a friendly smile. I was surprised to see that there was no one beside me. I've always been in the ghosts aren't real, there's always a reasonable explanation boat. I've explored Trans-Allegheny Asylum and never saw anything that people say they see, although I did walk into a pitch-black room there and got the impression that something in there did not want me there. Then the guide told us after we explored the wing that it was one of the most haunted parts. My wife fully believes in ghosts and spirits and even believes she can communicate with them sometimes and will often get a vibe or a feeling when she thinks there are ghosts. At this diner, she said she had a heavy feeling in her chest like she gets when we watch a scary movie. We also had a friend and his family join us, whose daughter was scared of the place and kept asking him to take her outside because of the mass. I told my wife about the experience when we got back, and she Googled Helvetia and haunting experiences. Apparently, there have been multiple sightings of similar entities there. Lots of stories here on Reddit about them as well. Yeah, and as I'm reading that, deja vu. Pretty sure I've read that story before, but there was no up arrow, so maybe I just missed it last time. but it says it was 6 days ago. Hard to say. This one is by no_perspective 3944. Friend's Haunted House. About 4-ish years ago, when my girlfriend and I started dating, we had gone to her cousin's house for a gender reveal party. This was the first time I've had met them and first time going over to their house. Later in the night, we were all sitting in the living room, talking, and her cousin was showing me a collection of Star Wars and Marvel stuff. There were balloons all over the place. See, I think I've read this one too. They all start popping, I guarantee it. For decoration, but they were all against the ceiling except for one. It was just floating there, and one of the guests, G, noticed it and decided to say, "If there's someone here, move that balloon over to H." We all watched as the balloon moved over and floated above his head, then said, "Okay, now move over to J's head." And it did. We were all just sitting there watching it. No one said anything, nor pulled their phones to record it. After what seemed like hours, but it was really seconds, the balloon headed towards the door and stopped, then it lowered itself to fly out of the open door. We were all shocked and scared, but most was like, did that just really happen? Later on, when I was playing games with her cousin, I had asked him how haunted his house was, and so far he said there's at least 4 ghosts. The old woman is number 1. There's an old lady that wanders the living room, middle area of the house. She's harmless from what he told me. She just sits on the couch and walks around. The stair ghost, he isn't sure what it is, but there's a ghost that runs up and down the stairs of his home. The upstairs ghost. So there's a ghost that moves stuff around and runs around at night or when his brother isn't home. Number 4, the basement ghost. He isn't sure what's in the basement, but he said it's always a weird feeling down there. One time he heard something hissing in his ear when he was doing laundry. I don't know why, it just seems familiar to me. I'm hoping I'm not rereading stuff to you. But then there's a couple stories after that are up arrow, so it's completely possible that I have. Alright, this one is by Muggin Caden. The Shrine at Twilight. My mother always warned me, never be at the shrine at twilight. I never really believed her until the summer I disappeared. One evening during 5th grade, I was playing tag at the neighborhood shrine with friends. The old tree cast long shadows, and the main hall smelled faintly of incense. I got tagged by Kenji. He was it. The moment his hand touched me, my chest froze. His face was blank, his eyes were unfocused, staring past me at something I couldn't see. "You can't go home anymore," he said. The other kids were gone. The shrine's entrance was gone. From the main hall came a faint bell. "Karan, Karan," and a whisper I couldn't understand. Kenji's grip was ice cold. I tore myself free, and the world went black. When I came to, I was standing on the shrine path at dusk. My mother and friends swore I'd been there the whole time. Later, my mother said quietly, "At twilight, they come to the shrine." What the hell is a shrine? Then they continue and say, "It's been nearly 20 years since that day, and I still avoid shrines at twilight. Can somebody in the comments please tell me what a shrine is?" Now that I think of it, isn't that where somebody puts candles and pictures and different effigies and stuff for somebody that they have loved or lost? I think that is it. Weird. Anyways, you guys, let's get on to our second music break. On this break, we have Hosni Bronx from Jamaica and the Bronx of New York with Dance as a Lion. And we have King Cinnamon from by Afro Nigeria with Fantastic and Ala Emo Adarella. And then we have Adonis from, I believe it's Wisconsin, could be New York, I don't know. I'm pulling towards Wisconsin with Mr. Cellman Mix. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
We swap on the
She like the water bam bam. King Cinnamon. Oh shit, baddest. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Gucci Prada, baby, gather something. Come on closer, baby, gather 19. I know you better, but I am the king. Your backside bigger than Bombay. Baby girl, broncotum. I like the way you wind your broncotum. Baby girl, broncotum. I like the way you wind your broncotum. Jamaica, Ghana, shout out to the ladies in Asia, Nigeria, South Africa. Say me love you. Please me, baby. Yeah. Turn up from you. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Love you, give me love, give me love. Oh, give me love, give me love. Hey, please me, baby. Oh. Yeah, turn up from you. Yeah, take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Shake your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. King Cinnamon. You know what I'm saying?
We swap on the mix. Lift it up. We swap on the beat.
Ka anyị kelee Chineke makwa n'ala Imo bụ ndị njem ọnụ. Ka anyị kelee onye nwe ụwa ịmakwa n'ala Imo bụ ndị njem ọnụ. Imo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo. Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo. Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Alimo Ebere Marama, Ovana Marama, First Lady Marama, Her Excellency Emeka Edio Hama, Emeka Edio Hama, Omenka Unanya Nidio Hama, Omenka Unanya Wa, Emeka Meki Modima, Emeka Modima, Emeka puta no boy. Oh yeah. Umu wa wulenu. Emeka puta no boy. Woko madima. Umu we me wempoto. Emeka Meki Modima. Emeka Meki Modima. Ndem jejemba. Mwan jejemba. Ndem jemano. Deputy Governor Imo State Chilike. Gerard Ronna Karaka, Woko Madima, Warabo, Deputy Governor, Deregima, Alukuta Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onye Jemono, Stanley Wamuche Karaka, Stanley Onye Babamba, President Good Life Foundation, Shirike, President General, Senate Group of Companies, President General, Financial Master Karaka, Alo Were Diregima, Alambise Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onye Jemono, Franklin Nate Shirike, Mebe Arabido Hotels, ABC Transport Karaka, Alo Were Diregima, Alambise Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Uchonya go chande, Honorable Woko Madima, Onye Horo Nyakeleni Yao, Mawugiye, Ginando Tugio, Mawunule, Njijigari Jinala, Imo State Yo, Mawugiye, Ginando Tugio, Mawunule, Minigari Zonala, Imo State Yo, Alo Were Diregima, Alo Were Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, the chairman, Orange Trucks Limited, Jisa Anthony Ifani Chukun to business and na Ishirike, Ikenga the Chele, pride of his people, most outstanding one, Okoma Marama, Iborabo, Alo Were Diregima, Alijato Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Honorable Jogwagu Shirike, Honorable Bina Shirike, Jere Labosa Shirike, Tochukwo Kereke Shirike, Okahu Be Shirike, Injina Benina Shirike, Onyomana Construction, Woko Madima Ikaraka, Onya Shiwole Heborani, Dejemu Imarama, Woko Mande Jembo, Woko Madima Ikaraka, Wiz Popule, Ibo Felamo, Onyomana Pito, Akana Kompa, Ikaraka, Eziwa Mama, Mr. Ludiriwa, Woko Meje Jemba, CEO Elizabeth Ventures, Ikaraka, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo. Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo. Thank God I'm from Imo State. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, make we jubilate, make we celebrate. Emeka shipwen be say, this one no be say them say. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, celebrate, make we jubilate. Ala mekele His Excellency Achikudenwa. Mekele kwa His Excellency Dr. Hakim. Yemaka Right Honorable BDK. Mekele kwa Right Honorable Jones Oyereri. Ala mekele Senator Onyebuchi Mr. Empowerment. Mekele kwa Right Honorable Emeka Chinedu. Umo mimo lowali bia meziena limo. Alima Dilama.
Cliffito.
Hello? I'm trying to call my baby, but it's poor reception, though. 'Cause she ain't picking up. Hello? Hello? Listen, Mr. Operator. I've been up all day and I'm trying to dial my baby's number. See, it only rings straight to the machine. 617. Now I know something must be wrong with this cell phone. 'Cause my baby, no, she wouldn't hang up on me. So tell me what's going on. I see most of the time phone only ring twice. How you doing, boo? Cool, how's your date? Nice. Now she ain't picking up, plus a text her. Put it to your plane, she's the one to get next to. It's not just the way, it's all day with affection. I'm hoping this detection is poor reception. Straight to the machine, mean it's like clicking my car, get connected quick. I'm saying, hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? I see the phone rings quite a few times before any answer. And I know she's home, well at least till 3. And I know she's home. Now I don't mean to be any bother operator, but could you just check and connect this call for me? 'Cause I know she's home. Now see, the first time I call, I'm like, maybe she working. And the second time I call, I'm like, little bit hurting. But the third time I call, I'm like, going berserk. And now half a day gone, can't get her on the horn. Usually in the morning, maybe it's something wrong. I mean, she wouldn't take this long to call back. See, we tight like that, she's supposed to be mine. So could you please try it one more time? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? For some reason, it's like she ain't home. Just wanna get my baby on the phone. Now I know that she's there all alone. So can you please hook up my cellular phone? Hey, Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see there's something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Mr. Cellular Phone Man, I see something wrong with my line. I try to dial my baby's number, but get click every time. Why she ain't picking up, yo? Why she ain't picking up, yo?
Welcome back, and thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I have a correction, and I'm very, very sorry, because this is for King Cinnamon. I keep saying Biafra Nigeria, and it's not. As I was listening to one of his songs, he said Ghana. Hold on. Nigeria, I believe it is. Give me a second. Now I don't even know. I'm like, excuse me. Was it Biafra Nigeria or Ghana, South Africa? But he is actually from Biafra, Nigeria. And Nonya Toria, who we haven't played in a while, we might do her next weekend or here in the next couple days or whatever, since I'm free. Yeah, we'll check it out and see what we think. Yeah, she's a good energy and Paper Love, and that's one of my favorite songs that she does. Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. Nonya Toria, Ghana, South Africa, and King Cinnamon by Afra, Nigeria. Alright, moving it along then, let's go to our quote of the hour. As I was looking at the quote, I'm like, wait a minute. I read that not too long ago, and then I looked, and the A was not for August. It was for April. So, I'm going to give you the two first ones from August, since that's what I was meaning to share with you guys. What the crack? Anywho's. So, let's see. Rewind. Quote for hour one is, nothing is impossible for those who don't have to do it themselves. For hour two, it was, lay stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. And then for today, one day at a time, this is enough. Do not look back and grieve over the past, for it is gone. And do not be troubled about the future, for it has not yet come. Live in the present and make it so beautiful that it will be worth remembering. And this is by Ida Scott Taylor. For you, River McMillian, like, in the past, and this was years ago when I tried to do this, and then when she said, or he said, well, who did that quote come from? Well, I don't know. Like, there is no name. But sometimes there is, so when there is a name, I do say it. But yeah, this was put together by a very nice woman. I remember I got this, back in the early 90s when I was a young one, and, you know, going to yard sales and stuff, and I found this in the area of religious books and spiritual books and whatever, and it had heart warmers on the front. Maybe that's what I should say. The heart warmer for the hour. But sometimes they're not worn. So yeah, I like thought or quote better. Let me know what you think in the chat below if you could. And it's crazy because Spreaker doesn't even do live chat anymore. Nothing's live anymore. It's post haste, and I don't know, I've been, like I said, so busy with summer and the kids and the chickens and the dogs and the cats and everything that I just thought tomatoes and peppers and yum, 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 yum. I haven't had time to do certain things, and yeah, so I'm hoping to do this one right. And that one to me was pretty awesome. So thank you, Ida Scott Taylor, if you're still around here. I found this at a yard sale, and I've had this since the early 90s. And it's so important. This is one of the things I have still today. Alright, moving right along. I was thinking, instead of doing Reddit ghost stories, we should do something more otherworldly or alien. And I don't know if it's because of the whole Epstein files thing or Washington, D.C. being taken over every business being robbed, all businesses, including restaurants, cell phone places, Dior, different places like that. This has been going on for longer than I even knew. And that should tell you something about what our news tells us. Are they keeping us up to date? Are they really telling the truth? Are they really trying to mess with our heads? I really want to say, are they really trying to fuck with our heads? Because that's how I feel. Like, it's like your parents, but more dysfunctional. And once, it started coming out, well, now they want a federal, they want military, they want all this stuff here in Washington, D.C. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I figured since this is the capital, this would be the most pleasant, calm place in the world. I'm Donald Trump. This is the best place in the world, except for my golf course. But no, seriously, like, it's the main place of the USA. The good old USA. For me, not really, except for that's what they said is the capital of the United States. If I were to do a capital, I would do something more centerfold, even though it's not the first one to be conquered and explored. It is the center of us. But yeah, have you guys even seen like the street layouts and things like that? There's like pentagrams, and another one is masons and blah blah blah, like street layout, everything. So weird. If you haven't seen it, look into it. I'll try to remember to do that. But like I said, I'm just like spread out so thin, and I'm at an age where I'm losing my mind, trying to get it back with what is it called? Hormone therapy. Man, good thing I didn't like just get right back onto birth control. I'm like, why even do that? So I didn't, and then all of a sudden nothing happened. How many years had I not even needed it? I don't know. It makes me feel resentful, but the good thing is I quit smoking, so that's good. I do miss my cigars and cigarillos and tasty things like that. I don't miss the just regular tobacco. I like the flavored ones. But yeah, that was a bonus. I quit doing that so I could take a certain birth control, but then had I gone back in when they told me to, I'd just be strung along and think this is what my body needs, but come to find out I don't. And I'm not even that old, so that's why I'm just like, what the hell? Yeah. What about you guys? Like, have you guys had anything like that? 2:22, make a wish. 2 hours and 22 minutes into the show. Almost 23, but what the hell? Yeah, that to me was just mind-blowing. And what do you guys think? Okay, so guys, I'm looking right now, and I put in alien encounters, and what pulls up is alien encounters 2.1K, and then humanoid encounters 355K, creepy encounters 681K, cryptozoology, everything is close encounter history. Everything is way higher than what I was looking at. Alien encounters 2.1. Those are in the hundreds of thousands, almost a million. Anyways, let's go and check out humanoid encounters, shall we? Oh my god, Becky. If you were to see this photo and... Okay, so to go from the get-go, welcome to our subreddit. User Western Bird 4314. If you were submitting a story, please include an approximate year when it occurred and a general area of where it occurred, state, province, and country. Okay, got it. Let's go. So we're joined. Yay! And same thing. This is by Johann Harry, 74. Humanoid close encounter cases from the Nordic countries, part 12. I kind of don't want to do this and go to something else because I want to start part 1 with this guy, and I'll write him and be like, hey, can I do a show on you where I start from part 1 and go up? Oh my gosh, I'm kind of scared to do that because, you know, some people are weirdos, which I'm a weirdo too, but yeah. Really on the pervy side, so somebody could take that wrong, which, I don't know, I'm just fly across the board from what I learned from my dad. Humor, no matter how dark it was funny, and I'm so glad he instilled that in me because what I went through as a kid, had he not, I think I'd be worse off. But you have room to laugh at your life, laugh at yourself, laugh at things around you, find the happiness within it, and that's me very important. Alright, Humanoid Encounters. This is by Yuchihot, Uchihot. Hatman? Has anyone else ever experienced this? A little bit of the backstory here because I feel it is relevant. My father, who passed in 2012, born 8/21/68, was a very stoic man. Not at all into the occult or paranormal, and did not ever speak of things like this, other than this one event. We're from Mobile, Alabama, where part of the Civil War took place, and the house my father grew up in directly was land used for the Battle of Mobile Bay. Okay, I have to say really quick, I, for a little bit, was in Morristown, Tennessee, which almost ready to pop, feeling like it as far as heat goes. I remember being in a T-Bird going to Morristown, Tennessee, the most eastern corner of Tennessee. Traffic locked, whatever, like, I was about to explode. I had to get out of the T-Bird because there's no AC, hot-ass engine, and yeah, I don't handle heat very well. Even worse today. Maybe not. Maybe I'm more acclimated, but don't do it. Barbecues. Tennessee is beautiful. I went from Morristown, Tennessee to Fayetteville, Tennessee, and I liked it because Fayetteville, that's where I'm from, in Arkansas, but also the energy, I don't know, driving from Arkansas, where I'm from, basically, and then going across Tennessee, and just the different energies. I don't know if you guys experience this too, but me driving across country, I'm not looking at my cell phone or different things like that unless I have to, unless I have homework I have to do or something like that when I was younger. I'm looking out at the environment, and you might be able to tell that from my personal Facebook. Like, I love pictures, mostly of the sky because my mom died early and I'm looking up to heaven and talking to her, so tons of things from the sky because I always look up. Even if I don't say anything, I'm looking up to my mom. Because who doesn't? I mean, that's a very young sort of thing to do. But landscapes, different things like that, the world around us is so beautiful. Sometimes it used to be beautiful, but now it's very tragic. But I really did enjoy Tennessee. It was cool. It was fun. But I don't think I did not have any paranormal encounters in Tennessee. That's weird to me. But, okay, this is where I'm like, what was I going for? So, Alabama. We drive from Fayetteville, Tennessee, down to Mobile or somewhere in Alabama, doing some church things. Birmingham, that's where it was. And, oh my goodness, like, driving through there, looking around, and like they said, going off your feelings. Holy shnikes. Some parts of that place, it's so dark, you're just looking around, especially me, being paranoid, riding with people, etc., because my mom died in a car accident. She was killed by a drunk driver. I'm just like, looking every which way but down. When it's beauty, you're looking at the beauty, still feeling the energy. Oh my gosh. Thank you. No, I don't. Thank you so much. So, what I'm picking up here from, I think it's Siri. I don't know. I don't mean to use it. This is the first time this phone is powered on me. The other one I had back in the day, that's the one that was like, did you summon me? And after that, like, my Siri was crazy and would come on all the time and for no apparent reason. This one, I don't know what I said, but he came up and said, where the heck did it go? Oh my gosh. Since my screen closed, I can't even see it, but he was talking about energy. Energy. But no, the energy of Alabama, and like I said, I didn't even press anything. I was on a Reddit page, and all of a sudden it just, energy, blah, 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 dark energy. Wow. But anyways, driving through Alabama, you could feel it. If you have had the same experience, please let me know. There are also still tunnels in and under a few houses in the historic district that are presumably old slave tunnels, or, as a lot of us know it, Underground Railroad. Including the house my father grew up in. My father never talked about ghosts and was very anti-heebie-jeebies. Was very quick to shut these things down if I mentioned something scared me, but he shared one story with me his entire life, maybe 2 or 3 times in total before he passed away, and would become overcome with emotions when talking about it. Worth mentioning, to make it more cohesive, the layout, when you open the front door, there are stairs immediately on the right-hand side, and on the left is a hallway that opens up to the living room, and at the end of the living room, my grandparents' bedrooms at that time, on that hallway to the left, were 2 archways with about 5 feet of wall in between them that opened up into a family den with my granddad's study on the inside that had glass doors. Thank you for bearing with me to this point. The event? When my dad was around 10 or 12 years old, he was upstairs in his bedroom and woke up with a feeling of dread, and what he explained was pure despair and fear. So he got out of his bed and walked downstairs. About halfway down the stairs, he said he was having to force himself to keep walking because he was so afraid. When he made it to the bottom of the stairs, he could see into the first archway. The den itself was dark, but the study lights were on. Inside the study, he said he saw a man, but more like a shadow, completely devoid of anything, more like the absence of everything, entirely pitch black with zero definition other than the outline of a top hat on, standing in the study. He ran to the wall in between the archway with his back to the wall and said he could hear his heart beating in his ears and he was paralyzed with fear. Yes, the only time I've ever heard my own heart like that is like your heart is racing or pumping so hard because you've gotten into a confrontation, you've had a haunting, something that spikes your adrenaline. You can hear your heartbeat in your ear, and sometimes it takes a while for it to go away. That is super trippy, I must say. Super scary. After about a minute, he leaned over and looked into the den through the second archway and said that whatever this thing was turned its entire body towards him, and he took off running down the hallway. This was about a week after his older sisters had played with a Ouija board in the home. Honey boo boo child, that's a no-no. You don't do that. Don't play with the Ouija board. Like, even my friend Kat and Glow and everybody, they're like, hey, we're going to use the Ouija board to talk to Dylan. You want to do it with us? I'm like, no. In my experience using it, when I was in combat training in the Broken Platoon, that's one time I had sleep paralysis. The other one was staying the night in the evil-ass place down in Aztec, New Mexico. Forget about it. Anywho. Yeah, you don't play with Ouija boards. And yeah, when they invited me, I'm like, I could film it, but no, I'm not going to play on one. And it wasn't a scary, bad experience. Like, supposedly I was talking to my mom, and, you know, the thing that makes me think it's not her is it told me everything I wanted it to. But maybe that's just because I'm open, because I'm right about a lot of spiritual, paranormal, supernatural, whatever things. Even if I haven't studied, I don't know. I know. How do you know? I don't know. I just know. And some of you might relate to that, but, well, I don't know. Yeah. Please don't play with a Ouija board, even though it's put out by a game place. Oh, something Parker, I think it is, but I can't really remember. Maybe that's the old name of it, but it is not a game. This is serious stuff. So yeah, like I was saying, after about a minute, he leaned over and looked into the den through the second archway and said that whatever this was turned its entire body towards him, and he took off running down the hallway. This was about a week after his older sisters had played the Ouija board in the home. I've looked this up since being told about it, and the Hat Man seems like a pretty common phenomenon, but there is no way that my dad could have known this. He didn't have the internet like that as a kid and didn't even know how to work an iPhone really, even when I was older. He was a brilliant man, but just not very tech savvy. I just don't know how he would have ever made this up. Has anyone had similar experiences? When I was older, about 12, my mom, dad, and myself moved into this house after my granddad's passing for a month or two, and then had to leave for a little over a month while some work got done on the house. When we moved back in, the house felt entirely different. We had tons of crazy shit happen there, and I'd be happy to share it if anyone's interested. I'm gonna put an arrow up for that. And then Colonel Stone said yes. In the mid-90s, I was about 7 or 8 at the time. I got home from school and my mom and brother weren't home, so it was just me. I sat on the chair in the living room and looked across the room. There was a desk with a big vanity mirror there. I saw my reflection in the mirror, and on the wall behind me, I saw a large shadow of a man with a top hat. At first, he was just standing there directly behind me, then turned his head down and looked directly at me. Then, when he noticed that I had seen him, he slumped down behind the chair I was in. I immediately jumped up and bolted out of the house and saw my mom across the street on the neighbor's porch and ran over there. And that was from, Colonel Stone. Yuki Holt, who is the person that originally wrote that, said, "That is so crazy. I cannot imagine seeing that, let alone it slumping down in the chair like this." My dad would get emotional talking about this until he was dead. 45. 45 is an early age to pass away. I'm sorry for your loss. And thank you very much. My mom passed 4.5 years later at the same age. Okay, so this is by Spooky-Yogi-904. When I was 24 or 25, I'm 40 now, I was staying the night at my ex-boyfriend's house. He lived in a townhouse complex and the halls and rooms were narrow. For some reason, I woke up straight up from bed. He was sleeping beside me, totally knocked out. I stood up and walked out of the room towards the top of the stairs. It's hard to describe other than I just felt like I was being pulled there. I looked down the stairs and all the lights were on for some reason. There was a man leaning over the railing with a weird, super wide smile. He beckoned me with his hand to come down. I shook my head and he started to get angrier, almost growling for me to come down. Then, when I backed away, he came running up at me. I ran back to my, I want to say boyfriends, it could be best friends. How old was she again? Oh yeah, I'm going to say boyfriends. Her boyfriend's room. Hearing the man behind me, I dove back into bed and something glass shattered beside me like he had thrown something at me. The boyfriend woke up and asked what the fuck was I doing and what broke, but there was nothing broken. We both looked, nothing. I told him what happened and he said, I dove back into bed and something glass shattered beside me like he had thrown something at me. The boyfriend woke up and asked what the F was I doing and what broke, but there was nothing broken. We both looked, nothing. I told him what happened and he said his sister had seen him too. I'll never forget this scary ass weird Cheshire cat grin. Yes, he is. And if you see that, I don't know. Maybe you're on a different level or especially close. I'm not sure. Someone to somewhere said, my aunt used to tell my family the story about a man with a hat that would stand at the end of her bed. She's seen it her whole life, but describes the presence as really dark, figuratively, literally. Describing its footsteps as a stomping sound coming down the hallway. We always believe her because she describes this with so much conviction and you can hear the fear. Always thought this was just her story only, meaning no one has ever encountered this. Lo and behold, I saw this documentary within the last few years on Amazon about the man with a hat. And this is common around the world. Sent it to my aunt and she said yes. She had no idea that other people had seen the same figure. And this was a story she was telling us in the 90s, when we'd be camping or all my aunts and uncles being up late drinking. I find this really fascinating. I've never seen this entity, thankfully, but I've seen the old hag a few times before, which has scared me. Okay, so I've never seen the Hat Man personally. My son saw him right outside my studio door as he was in my bed. And then, very same night, aka next day, my oldest daughter started seeing him. Come to find out, her and her friends were dinking around in this house in Ignacio. This house ended up being an old Catholic church, supposedly. And they had some friends over. They're probably drinking some apple Crown Royal, because that was like their favorite thing back in the day. But hanging out with their friends, smoking weed, doing apple Crown Royal and stuff like that. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because Kinsey was telling her ghost stories or what, but they decided to go into the attic. What did they find? Well, they found a box with a satanic Bible in it, some bubbly ass looking rocks that I'm like, well, is that kind of like onyx or lava rocks, like the mix between lava rocks and onyx? And then some cassette tapes and different stuff like that. And I'm like, why did you not give me those cassette tapes and you just threw them away? You know, there could have been some possession work being done there, an exorcism, something that would be paranormally infused. So, like, over the years, I really wish she had given that to me, but at the same time, what if things do attach to things? And I've already had my run-in with this mofo, but what if this would reopen it even worse than it already is? Like, this guy, this feller, this entity, whatever you want to call him, has been after me since probably before I can remember, but especially since I was about 6 years old. That's why with my kids, I've told them my ghost stories, totally open about it, because I want them to know what I did. to keep things like this from happening. Well, how did I know? I don't know, I just knew. Isn't that weird? Maybe it's common sense. Maybe it's just gut intent. I don't know. To continue on, we have Werewolf at the movies. I was 7 years old, sleeping in a basement bedroom. It was below grade with a large window that started a few inches above the grade of the lawn in the backyard. I woke up at about 4:30 a.m. with a feeling of dread and like I was being watched. I stood on my bed to look out my window and I was greeted by a face. A completely black face with no features besides tiny red eyes and a smile that I was never able to accurately describe until I googled Indrid Cold. Just a silhouette with dots for eyes and a creepy extended smile. I was wearing a top hat, but there were no details, just blacker than the darkness outside. I never really share my story because it seems to vary from others because of the top hat, but your dad saw it. As an aside, I'm sorry that your father passed so young. That's a tough hand to be dealt. Indrid Cold, I have to look into that because I've never heard that, so I was antiquated to being Hat Man. And when I went over to my daughter's house to help her, you could see him as a shadow in its daytime, so it's a lot brighter in there. And his shadow was, you had to really be paying attention. And he'd be in the room, and then as soon as we'd come in, he'd dip into the ground or up into the attic. He had a fella there with him, which, oh my gosh, what did I call him? Not his drone or whatever, his minion. And this poor guy, you could tell, did not want to be doing the job he was doing. He's supposed to be there, like, feeding off us or scaring us or doing whatever, right by the couch, just kind of ducking down, and would never do what he's supposed to. And you'd see the Hat Man moving around, and probably because he's pissed off. I'm afraid to think of what he might have done to this poor fella, but good on you, Mr. Minion, that was with the Hat Man in Ignacio, Colorado, at the old Catholic church. Good on you for not doing what the Hat Man told you. And now I'm worried. If you see Hat Man so many times, is this gonna cause something? I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of worried now because I've said it a lot. Maybe from here on out I'll say HM for this episode. That way you know what I'm talking about and I don't outright say it. Like SWs. Or... never mind. I won't even say it. I don't know if the figure my sister and I had seen one night back in the 80s when we were 7 and 8 is the same as what's known as the Hat Man. This is by Mull74. I'd gone into my sister's room to spend the night as my room had issues, and I was too scared to sleep alone in there after some scary experiences. That night, my sister had shaken me awake and said that there's something all black standing near the side of the bed. When I looked, I could see something head to toe in black. It wasn't a shadow, but was as present in that room as we both were. Whatever this was didn't have a hat but a head covering more like a hood. I put my head back under the blankets, and when I looked again, it was still there. We crawled down to the bottom of the bed and ran to our grandparents' room. When we told her what we'd seen, she told us not to worry, as it's probably a past loved one looking for us. As young children, we must have accepted that. Now as an adult, that's never forgot. I think, what past loved one would visit a child, head to toe in black, as it would surely scare them as it did us? I don't know what we'd seen that night. All I know is it was as solid and present in that room as we both were. I also wonder if it's the reason I was so scared to spend the night, or indeed any time in my own room. And I also wonder, was your grandma just telling you that so you wouldn't be scared anymore and that thing would quit feeding off you? Like I said, the first time I had sleep paralysis was in combat training. MRP, broken platoon, and we had played the Ouija board during Hurricane Bonnie. After that, I was just so drained and stuff. Like, I talked to my mother, I was so excited, but also I was just, after the adrenaline and stuff like that wore off, I was just so tired. So I felt like I needed a nap. I laid down on the rack by the head, aka the bathroom, because it was full. There was no room for me, so laid down. I'm not one for taking naps, so I was just like, all right, I'll just wait till somebody walks by and then I'll go in there and use the bathroom. Well, I did wait till somebody walked by, but I didn't go in there as a whole being. I went in there spiritually, and it was kind of like in between the real world and the dream realm or whatever other realm might be out there. I remember, I think it was an OBE because I'm walking and I'm not drunk, but I feel like I'm super, super drunk because I have to keep leaning on the walls and holding on to things not to fall. And yeah, nothing negative as far as the feeling, but when I tried to get up to go stand in line for chow, my sergeant was pissed off because it took me forever, but I was trying to break free from whatever it was, and I think it was the state of being awake and asleep, and so I could not coordinate my muscles. But I did strain so hard that I was sore for over a week, and like my deltoids and my pecs and my biceps and my triceps and other things in that region, even my neck. It was insane. But that second one in Aztec at, I think it was like Paradise Village or something like that. I can't remember what the bar was named. I think it's shut down now, which, yeah, if I had band rooms like that behind my bar, I'd shut that shit down too. Tear it down and rebuild or sell it. Nope, I'd have to tear it down first. Cleanse it, then sell it or something, I don't know. But that is when I saw what they were talking about. The darker than dark. Went shopping, went back to the room, fooled around. Of course, it takes me forever to get to sleep, and I'm laying there trying to go to sleep. Of course, the old man is already asleep. Like that, he could go to sleep. It really pissed me off. But just laying there trying to go to sleep. I'm starting to drift off, and all of a sudden, I see a shadow under the crack of the door. This room, this apartment, this building was all brick. There was windows in the living room area and one little window in the bathroom. The two side rooms, no windows. Why? I don't know. It's so freaking weird to me, but they didn't have a window. The only light coming in was under the door. But like I said, I'm starting to blink out or whatever, and all of a sudden I see a shadow move. So I come to a point and I'm looking and trying to focus, and all of a sudden I see it. This figure darker than the dark. I try to jump up. I can't move. This hasn't happened to me since 1998. The only difference is there's a being here and it's talking to me, and it's not talking to me with its mouth. It's talking to me telepathically, and it said, "I will have you." I said, "You will not," and it laughed. And when it laughed, the smile was like face-breaking big, but was full of very vibrant white. I would say glowing, because how can I see the teeth without a window or a light on or something? But you could see the glowing teeth, and then the saliva dripping off of its teeth. And it laughed, and he said, "I will have you." And I said, "No, you won't." And at that moment, he reached down with his face and kissed me. And when he did, that sent a shock through my canines, up to the top of my head, down through my body, to the soles of my feet. At that point, it released the foot portion of me. So, like I said, I'm struggling trying to move my body. I can't. But when that shock went through me, I could finally kick my feet. At that point, my old man woke up and saw this thing, reached over and grabbed me and pulled me toward him. Thank God he saw it, because I thought I was just losing my mind. But no, he saw it, and he saved me from it. But next day, I had to get up early, go an hour away to the portrait studio in Walmart and open up shop and go to work. And I just kept looking in my rearview mirror, not wanting to, but I just felt like it's going to be back there. It's going to be back there. PTSD once again, but no, it wasn't there. Thank God it stayed where it was supposed to stay. But I believe the Hat Man is real. I don't think this is a state of in between sleep and awake. I think you wake up or you open your eyes and you see this guy and his minions with him, and it's messed up. Like I said, the second one was not Hat Man, but my kids have experienced Hat Man. This thing, I think, was either alien or demonic. It didn't have eyes. It didn't have those features. It was very, thin but muscular. I don't know. Now I feel like I'm talking crazy. Let's see if we have anything that's short enough to fill the last 2 minutes before we have to go to the close. This one is by friend_of_crows. When I was little, I don't remember how young, early elementary school. I think I'm 30 now. I was in the kitchen. There was a dim light on, but it was fairly dark. In the dining room stood a tall shadow man with a fedora and a big briefcase. I froze, and he just stood there, presumably staring back at me, had no face or definition. I was terrified, but was always terrified when I saw spirits. A red dot eventually showed up on his face, and at that point I was able to scream for my mom and come running to her in the living room. We like to go to psychic fairs every year, and so she asked about the man I saw, and the psychic said it was my spirit guide, and his name was Mr. Sam. I never saw him again, and that could be true because the one that my son saw was wearing, it looked like a fedora. And how did he even know what a fedora was at that age? But he wasn't carrying a briefcase. He was wearing, I want to say a sand coat or whatever. A slicker, I think it's called. It's like a coat, but it's long, and you wear it when you're riding horses or, through the mud or rain or whatever. But yes. Yuchihat said, "This gave me chills on the back of my neck." My dad explained it very similarly, as far as the having no face or definition whatsoever, just devoid of color and depth. The apparition my dad saw had a top hat on like Abraham Lincoln. Is how he also described it, and was very, 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 very tall, at least 6.5 feet tall. Wow. Yeah, my son was thinking, it's a cowboy, but I'm like, son, I don't think so. I think you saw the HM. And I ain't gonna say his stuff either, because I don't want him to come back. Know what I mean? Anywho's, guys, holy shnikes, we made it through another one. Thank you so much once again for hanging out with me tonight, and thank you so much for being my fling. Thank you to all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and wherever you may be listening Beyond The Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend when I just pull something out of my ace, or, somebody fling me an idea. weareparadoxmedia@gmail.com, or come on and tell your ghost stories with me. I'd love to have you. It'd be awesome not to be alone. I've had a couple old friends and subjects reach out and want to do stuff, but I'm just like, it's hard to handle my own drama and stuff, and other people's as well. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to find a happy middle place, and we'll see what happens. But don't forget, fam, we are all in this together. Together, we can make the world a bit better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. Until next time, 99 love and light. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Not too much left now. And rest of your week. School starts this week. Can you believe it? Summer is already over. Anywho's, I'll see you back here. Same crazy time, same crazy ass place. Mwah.